Hi, Inclusionist Tourista here. So it's Saturday lunchtime, and I've had an overnight to do some reflecting on what I've heard and what I've seen over the last few days. Um, uh, and rather than do an hour-long monologue, which I really don't want to do, and I can't imagine you want to listen to, I thought it'd be quite good for me to sort of carve up into a few shorter films, um, starting with some of the challenges that I think exist here, that if overcome would really start to push inclusion to the next level. Because as I've said before, and as everyone has said to me here, it's not perfect, and there's still more to do. I think the first area of challenge is with regard to teachers and the support teachers get or don't to enable them to feel confident to teach a diverse pupil population. I was surprised to discover this week that, for example, teacher training doesn't have a mandatory requirement to around the development of inclusive teaching practice. I just assumed that it would. What seems to happen is that once you qualify as a teacher, you then a lot of it is learning on the job, but also there is a huge amount of information, resources and materials, both online and available to teachers to develop those skills. Don't forget, there is also within each school resource teachers and teams of resource staff. There are guidance counsellors. There is also a team of educational assistants, depending on how big or small the school is. So I have no doubt that there are huge amounts of resources. I think where the gaps might be is teachers finding the time to really embed some of that additional practice, and even with that, and even that challenge, it's still the case that every teacher I spoke to was absolutely firmly committed to inclusive education. They talked to me about the challenge of meeting a range of additional support needs from their students, and how sometimes it is a struggle. But that's okay, they accept. And there does seem to be here a real culture of, look, if I don't know how to do this, where can I go for help? Where, I can go to my resource team, I can go to my principal, I can go to the ministry. I guess that's the bonus of having a small province. But, if I apply that to the UK, it would be local authority size. So with each of these films, I'm thinking, am I saying something here that wouldn't apply to the UK? And I'm absolutely not. So I think there is a real challenge for teachers about getting the right support at the right time. But that's not to say that they aren't still committed to inclusion. It's kind of despite that, actually. So I think it's really important for the ministry and school districts to really recognise that perhaps there might be more they need to do to actively support teachers, maybe to create spaces for teachers to share good practice, but also to ask questions about how they might include particular children that they may not have met before. So I think it's a challenge, absolutely, and of course teachers and schools will always say, but there's not enough resource and there's not enough money. But I'm not sure there ever will be enough money. It's about recognising how to use the funds that are currently available to the best effect. And I think it may not feel like that for teachers at the moment here, but I see lots of that happening now. So I think there is a need to review teacher training programs to ensure that every teacher has a really good solid basis before coming into school about how to differentiate and how to teach inclusively, because the absolute belief here is that every teacher will teach every pupil. That's extraordinary, but it does require support and ongoing training, I think.